As the cliche goes, April showers bring May flowers. But usually what comes after is the heat and dryness of summer. Hello again, Essay here. And before the hot weather of the holiday shows up, you should indulge in my new short story, The White Cat, a free exclusive on Substack. The links are down below in description. Join Margot Thompson, a beautiful stage actress and recent widow who finds salvation in the form of a white cat during a night of terror. While checking out my oddball thriller, remember that my Glitch series is still available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The links are down below in the description. While you'll find my peculiar story about a white pussy entertaining, that doesn't mean I'm out of ideas. I still have more stories coming down the pike, so as long as I don't run into any mishaps. You'll see those stories as well. Now let's get back to the video. Hello again. Essay here. Ever since, I guess the advent of humans in their cave, beating on a hollow log, that there always been music. Of course, it's probably something you couldn't dance to, but it is what it is. And of course, in the intervening eons, music, got better. Instruments got better. People got more proficient with their instruments. I mean, anyone who ever listened to old classical music like Beethoven, Mozart, Brahms, and all the rest of those guys, Tchaikovsky, can testify to that. And then, of course, later on, you have people like Edison, who invented the first phonograph record. And of course, at that point, you could say that, okay, now people can listen to music anytime they want. And of course, that led eventually to the advent of outfits like RCA and Columbia, and of course later MCA, and of course Sony Records. But of course, the funny thing about music is that in the end, it all depends on the artist. If you have someone who can't sing, like Milli Vanilli, for example, they're not gonna sell too many records. Now, if you got someone like Elvis Presley, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, oh, now you can sell a whole lot of records. No joke. But of course, the funny thing about music is that the industry can be really fickle. I mean, one moment you can be on top of the world, like say Radiohead, and then after a decade or maybe two, people have forgotten your name. Say Radio who? Yeah. In fact, I remember back when I was growing up, there was this band called The Knack. And they had this one good song, Get the Knack. Good song. But unfortunately, they never had a follow-up. At least follow-up no one wanted to listen to. And they basically went down history as a one-hit wonder. Hey, it happens. And they weren't the first, and they certainly weren't the last. But then again, of course, there are bands who try to stay relevant, follow trends. And when I was growing up, I used to listen to David Bowie and Elton John. Yeah. Remember Goodbye Yellow Brick Road? Yeah. Remember Space Odyssey? Yeah. I grew up listening to that stuff. Of course, I was a little kid at the time. I didn't quite understand all the ins and outs, but I liked what I was listening to. And of course, anyone familiar with Bowie knows that that guy, he definitely changed with the times. He started out basically a hippie. I mean, you ever saw the cover of the original artwork for Man Who Sold the World? I mean, that thing is wild. And of course, some of you saying, what do you mean? It's just cartoon art. No, 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 no. I'm talking about the OG original art cover for Man Who Sold the World that was sold only in England, where it shows David Bowie with his long blonde tresses wearing a full-length dress. And at first you don't even realize it's him. And then you realize, wait a second, that chick looks familiar. And you realize, oh shit, it's David fucking Bowie in a dress. Like, what the fuck? And then, of course, if you remember, Bowie then got into that glam rock stuff, you know, with Ziggy Stardust. And then he had that dalliance with the Thin White Duke, you know, Young Americas. And then he segued into almost like the music that the Cars cranked out, or Talking Heads kind of music, you know, with the Lodger, and of course Let's Dance, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah. And of course, I have to admit, and of course, because he was able to change with the times, he always stayed relevant. Same thing with Elton John. Of course, some of you probably remember, yeah, he was hanging with Bernie Taupman. Yeah, true. And a lot of that stuff that he made in his early career was really, really good. Some of it is still listenable today. But then he changed his tune too. And indeed, by the 1980s rolled around, his music came back in vogue. Yeah, because I remember, I think it was I can't remember the name of that album, but it came out in the early 80s, that Elton John put out, and they had a lot of snazzy tunes off of it. Yeah, I heard that stuff on radio. Thought that was pretty good. And of course, as you all know, Elton John is still out there today. He's still cranking out albums. Is he getting much radio play as he did back in the past? Probably not as much. But then how many people listen to good old-fashioned terrestrial radio nowadays? And of course, some people say, oh, we got Sirius radio. Yeah, I know they got the satellite radio, but yeah, some people can't afford that satellite radio. Some people have to listen to good old-fashioned damn AM, FM radio. But anyway, this video is not so much about the music industry per se, but one particular band. And believe me, I have to admit, this band been around for a while. You know, these guys out of Tennessee, Paramore. Yeah. And the funny thing about Paramore is that they must have been flying pretty low below the radar, because I never heard these guys. Of course, but other people have. But what can I say? Yeah, in fact, from what I read about them, they were almost like I wouldn't go as far as to say a Christian band, but they were definitely something close to Creed. And of course, anyone remembers Creed back in the 90s? Oh no, those guys were like huge. Even though they were definitely had Christian roots that you couldn't ignore in the music. But anyway, the lead singer of that band, Paramore, let's just say this. She did something that probably her fans probably didn't see coming. In fact, nobody saw coming. And of course, that old goofy guy, Paul Joseph Watson, let's just say this. He has very interesting information about what the band did. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
During a performance in Las Vegas, Paramore singer Hayley Williams did the most rock and roll thing possible. She effectively endorsed the same political candidate backed by Amazon, IBM, Microsoft, and the US deep state.
Project 2025 is Donald Trump's playbook for Trump agenda. And the only way to do that is by confronting him at the polls. Do you want to live in a dictatorship? Well, show up and vote! Yeah!
Wow, you're edgy. I mean, Project 2025 literally isn't Donald Trump's playbook, because it's got nothing to do with him and he's disavowed it several times. But don't let that get in the way of a good virtue signal.
Well, show up and vote!
I share the same opinions as every other major celebrity, Fortune 500 company, deep state regime propagandist, and Amazon's entire HR department. I'm cool. I'm edgy.
Do you want to live in a dictatorship?
But it turns out Haley's supposedly spontaneous, heartfelt anti-Trump tantrum wasn't as organic as it first seemed. Looks like she was literally reading it off a script.
Project 2025 is Donald Trump's playbook for controlling and punishing women, poor people, people of color, and the LGBTQ+ community. It is time for all Americans to band together and to finally defeat the Trump agenda. And the way to do that is by confronting him at the polls. Do you want to live in a dictatorship? Well, show up and vote!
Wow, how spontaneous. It really does underscore how, for many years now, being talented isn't the primary reason why celebrities attain and maintain success. Only the ones who make that deal with the devil and prostrate themselves as droning NPC amplifiers of the message. Only those who make it abundantly clear that their integrity is up for sale by becoming mindless sock puppets for the political establishment can be assured that the rewards will come their way in terms of exposure, mainstream adoration and awards. And we wonder why nearly everything produced by the music industry is now regime-approved, sterile, anodyne dross. No longer about talent, it's about who can sell out the hardest. Nowhere has this been more evident than with Green Day, a group that started as an anti-establishment punk band, went on to write an entire album raging against the deep state and the regime's forever wars, only to end up demanding mandatory COVID jabs to attend their concerts, while endorsing the same candidate that Dick Cheney is voting for. Wow, so edgy.
Okay, you saw that. Now, of course, some of you say, well, so what? A lot of people nowadays are getting political. Okay, I'll concede that. Because, because I remember not too long ago, I think it was, about a couple of years ago, Rage Against the Machine. I mean, they got ragged on by a lot of their fan base when they came out publicly and were basically became part of Team Fauci. Remember old Dr. Fauci and the Coof? Yeah. I mean, a lot of people weren't feeling that at all. But hey, you really think those guys did that on their own? Or did somebody put them up to it? Yeah, precisely. And therefore, when you think about what happened recently with Paramore, then you ask the question. They didn't do that on their own. Someone obviously put them up to it. And makes you wonder, who could that have been? With their initials might be KH, perhaps? And at this point, you have to ask, well, why? Because it's one thing to be political. Because I remember, for example, Neil Young's song, 4 Dead in Ohio. I remember hearing it on the radio. I didn't know what the song was about at first. I was a kid. Then I realized later, he was singing about how the National Guard went crazy one day on the University of Ohio and shot 4 students accidentally on purpose. And therefore he wrote that protest song, 4 Dead in Ohio. And then of course there was Creedence Clearwater Revival. They wrote that song about the Vietnam War called the American Sun. Yeah. But of course, those were mostly then. When you consider that time period, yeah, there was a lot of people who were writing protest songs against the Vietnam War. It's just the way people were rolling. Yeah, not a popular war. But still, it does make you wonder, what the hell were these people doing? Making such a blatant political statement like that. I mean, didn't everyone tell these people that if you're going to basically shill for a political party or wait for it, a political candidate, they got rules against that stuff? Yeah. In other words, if you're going to put out a political statement, you have to say that you're making a paid political announcement. I mean, why do you think every time you see some ad for some whoever running for, whether it be dog catcher or president of the United States, you see that little writing at the very bottom of the screen, paid political ad? Because it is. And now, when you go back to what these people at Paramore did, it makes you wonder. Okay, that clearly wasn't a spontaneous rant. I mean, if you saw in Watson's video, she was reading from a script, cue card. And I guess they didn't expect someone was just off stage filming her reading off a cue card. And of course, at that point, you realize, okay, she just did a paid political ad for Harris, for the presidency. And then, of course, at that point, you say, well, didn't anyone tell these people you can't just do that without announcing ahead of time that you're making a paid political announcement? Yeah. Now, we ain't talking about, say, for example, old Robert De Niro when he went on stage. I think it was it wasn't doing the Emmys. No, it wasn't the Emmys. Was it the Emmys? No, I can't remember what award show it was. It was back like a few short years ago. When old Trump was president, and he went on stage or some kind of award show. Oh, maybe in the Golden Globes. Yeah, maybe. And he got on stage and he basically said, F Trump. He didn't care. Now, do you think that was a paid whatever? No, that was just him ranting. What's the cliche? Old men yelling at clouds. Yeah. But what happened here with this Paramore guys, that was obviously a paid ad. And right in the middle of their damn concert, too. I mean, really, dude? I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, of course, are they going to get in trouble with that federal agency that regulates that kind of stuff? Probably not. Since most of these federal agencies have all been corrupted, all became, politicized. I mean, ain't been paying attention to the Justice Department in the last couple of years. All those stupid Trump indictments. Yeah, you think that was an accident? Or do you think that someone was trying to win an election, therefore they're trying to put their political opponent in jail? Yeah. Talking about weaponizing the federal government institutions. Now, of course, will the Paramore's little campaign ad have any effect on the damn her audience? I don't know. Because you talk to anyone, ordinary people, regular Joe Six-Pack types, and they'll tell you, I don't want to be lectured to. I just want to be entertained. I mean, hey, I get it. I mean, why you think all those damn Hollywood films keep going, crashing and burning? Because these people in Hollywood don't get it. If you want to send a message, use Western Union. Yeah, Louis B. Mayer said that damn near 100 years ago. And it still applies today. And, wait for it, it also applies to the music industry too. If you want to send a message, use Western Union. Don't be getting up on stage and lecturing to your damn audience. Because, wait for it, you ready? Not too long ago, up there in Canada, Mick and Keith were performing. And you say, man, those guys need a rocking chair. Yeah, well, I guess they're going to have to, they're not going to stop rocking until someone carries them away feet first. But anyway, they got up there on stage, or I should say, Mick did, and he started singing the praises of the damn, that clown, Justin Trudeau. And you know how the audience reacted? Yeah. Big fat boo. I saw that video. It was so funny. I mean, no joke. I mean, there must have been at least 10, 20,000 people in the audience. They started booing Mick because he started singing the praises of Justin Trudeau. And hey, guess what? Mick got the message because right in midstream, he, you know, like a light switch, he started talking about the local. I think they were in Toronto. I think they started talking about the local soccer team. yeah. So he figured it out. Yeah, his audience don't want to be lectured to about stupid politics. They just want you up there and sing, homie. Yeah. And of course, if you saw in that video, they said that wasn't even a regular concert where that woman did that. It was at the iHeart Radio, some event. But they still filmed it. You know, you saw they had the camera right in the woman's face. I mean, ridiculous. I mean, simply ridiculous. But then again, of course, just like with Rage Against the Machine, I guess she must have got the call. From who? Who do you think? I mean, you gotta remember, the music industry, it's not a fun industry. I mean, just as old Puff Daddy, who's sitting in Pokey right now for all sorts of felonious things we're not going to get into. Yeah. The funny thing about music industry is that people work really hard and they don't get paid a whole lot of money. Don't believe me? Ask some of the old people used to work for old Motown. Yeah. You know, like Diana Ross, she's still around. Yeah, ask her how well they were paid back in the 1960s when she was with the Supremes. Not very well. And then you say, what happened? What do you think? Music industry, those damn record executives, they always take their little bit off the top. Always. And wait for it, you ready? Unless you own your own damn studio, you know, like old Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, remember Electric Ladyland? Yeah, that wasn't just an album. That's actually the name of his recording studio. I don't know if that building's still around though, because that was back in the 60s, but yeah. But the thing is, these people in the music industry, if you're a singer, they be deducting money off of the damn record sales for everything. Promoting your record, the damn fees for the damn recording. I mean, because wait for it, you ready? You know, if you're a record business, if you're a singer in record business, lining up a damn recording studio with the damn producer and everything, that costs like serious money. No joke. But then if you've got a record contract, hey, the record company pays for it all. And then they take it out of your salary. Don't believe me? Ask Johnny Rotten. Yeah. Ask him what happened when when he and his homies Sid Vicious used to work for EMI back in the 70s, back with his previous band, the Sex Pistols, and ask what happened to them when they put up that first album. Yeah, they didn't get rich off of it. In fact, no joke. I remember, I saw the documentary. By the time they completed their one and only North American tour, the Sex Pistols were not only broke, but they were in the hole for I don't know how much money to EMI. Yeah. They owed them money. And you're saying, wait, what? Yeah, true. And then EMI eventually dropped them. And of course, the band later afterwards broke up. Just like that. And I actually like the Sex Pistols. I actually got that one album of theirs. Pretty good album. If you're into like serious Stone Cold pop, it's music like that. Yeah. But of course, in the present day, you think anything's changed? Of course not. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Paramore's record company leaned on them and basically said, you know, homies, you're not as big as you used to be, because I think they started out back in the early 2000s, and I think their most recent album was, their most recent album came out last year. Yeah, This Is Why. Yeah, they probably told them, hey, if you do this paid promotion for the Harris campaign, we'll give you a little money. And they probably said, sure. Why not? You know, when money talks, integrity walks. Yeah, I forgot who said that, but it's true. In fact, if I remember correctly, back when I was a kid, I remember this phrase, Johnny sang for his supper. What do you think that means? Simple. It means if you don't sing, you don't eat. And I guess people at Paramore said, okay, if we don't do this promotion, we don't get paid. And we don't get paid, we don't eat. So yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if old James O'Keefe, you know, cornered these people at Paramore in some restaurant somewhere and asked them to their faces, how much money did you guys get paid to do that promotion for Harris? I bet you they probably tell you. I ain't joking. They probably would say, yeah, we got paid. They offered us some money, and we say, okay, I'll take the money. And there you go. Yep. These damn people at Paramore, to use an old phrase my father used to say, just sold their soul for a plate of beans. Yep. Sure did. No joke. And the worst thing about it is, they weren't the first, and they probably ain't gonna be the last. Nope. Well, that's all I gotta say about old Paramore and how they basically decided that a big bag of money was worth more than having a little integrity. And that's my opinion.